If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership, so it's great for those of you that are starting out. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Which, like, all right, Highlands, do you have to, like, apply to that? Is that, like, a...
Yeah, so I was talking to Jess about it, and there's a whole bunch of scholarships that you can apply for to go, because otherwise you can just, like, sign up for them, but the workshops themselves are, like, $1,000 to $2,000.
Damn. I don't get that fucking kind of money. I don't have any money. Yo,
right?
I'm not to spoil what I'm going to talk about, but books is what people be getting for Christmas this year.
Yeah, books that probably have misprints in them. You get an arc, and you get an arc.
For real.
Oh,
but so it's like, all right, so you apply for like scholarships to attend, but otherwise you can just like spend that cheddar.
Yeah, otherwise you can just, drop a bunch of fucking money. Like, I wanna go. There's so many things, especially, well, most of the stuff I like to go to is, like, in the summer and the fall. There's really not a lot of stuff in the winter. I mean, ALA's got the midwinter, and that tends to be on the East Coast, but it's still, like, money. But one year I would like to go to Y'all Fest or Y'all West, and have fun at that, because BookCon is like a big hot mess. I will never forget the James Dashner incident.
What the hell?
Maggie ever? Yeah. Okay. So one of the first years that Maggie and I went, the Maze Runner movie was coming out, and so James Dashner was at BookCon. We were always like,
isn't he? Yeah. Like weirdly, like, is he racist or
homophobic? Yeah. I don't remember, because that drama came out like after I was done with the series, and so I was no longer like, I have to follow this author.
I need to.
Yeah, I no longer needed to know.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, I'm like, sorry, I'm listening. I'm just this.
Also cooking. I can hear you.
No, I took like, I had like, I almost said, this is how much coffee I had today. I almost said I took 6 cups of coffee today.
I took it right in my veins.
Yeah, but like I drank it, and so now I'm just like, me and my sister, we call them the zoomies, when like you feel like you just gotta like walk around. Yeah. And like it happens when especially I'm on the phone. I feel like I gotta like.
I do that.
Move.
And the only reason that I'm not doing it right now is because my back is killing me.
Yeah.
My legs hurt so bad. Like, I can't tell you how much I pace during interviews, and I just walk around the room.
And it's like, I feel that my cat's like looking at me like, what the fuck, dude? You were just cuddling me. And I'm like I know. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the cat is especially offended, because the cat came over to you and was like, I took time out of my day.
Yeah, and he like
to show you affection.
Yeah, and she never does. She's always like,
because all of the other signings that we tried to get to were like completely booked up hours in advance. We went 2 hours early for this signing, and there were 5 other people with us when we first got there.
Hell yeah!
And we're just sitting in line. We're like, yeah, we're the 5. We're eager beavers. Go us. Then the line started getting longer, and they didn't tell us to move until like 5 minutes before the signing was supposed to happen.
Oh, that's fucked.
And security comes over, and security's like, everybody has to move. We're like, we're waiting for a signing. The event starts in like 5 minutes. Like, we're not moving. And they made a big hullabaloo. And then instead of moving us in an organized line, keeping that line, we became this amorphous blob, where originally we were a line. Then there were a couple hundred people in this blob. And they moved us over places. And we went from being 5th in line to being like 50th in line.
No, fuck that. Fuck that, and fuck like 45 people too. Like, I get, like, even though she's my cat, she's like, you get affection when I'm hungry. Like, but like right now, she's just like, come on, dude. All right, I'm going to try it.
That's what Pumpkin does.
Anyway, so the incident at BookCon.
Oh, yeah, so the incident. So obviously, like, the movie's coming out. It's a huge book. It's a huge author. You know, like, this was something that should never have been on the show floor. Mm-hmm. And rather than having his autograph in the autograph signing area, they had it in the Penguin booth. So
I wouldn't do it. I'd be like, I don't know. I respect lines in events like that, so I'm always like, yeah, come on, you were in front of us, but like, fuck all those 45 people too that were like, no, we get to.
So then, like, some people, we ended up finding like the people that were around us in the Alpha line later on in the day, and they didn't get in
at all.
Because they started doing like tickets for the event. So you lined up, you got a ticket, and then you went over to a different place. Was what they suddenly decided they were fucking doing, and people that had waited there for 2 hours didn't get in.
Yo, I would be burning things. Like, they'd be like, there's another fire. What is happening?
It was such a hot fucking mess. It was terrible.
God damn.
Somewhere in here, I'm going to do the intro to the show.
See, this is the, like, chill out, and then you'll...
I'll put one of the ads here that I just recorded in the car. You can hear the rain hitting my car in the background of these promos.
Does that mean you want me to like be quiet so you have like a break?
No.
To insert the intro.
No, I'm gonna do it now and then edit it later, obviously.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god. Okay. What is welcome to Booked All Night, a late night discussion style podcast about young adult literature and coffee zoomies and goddamn James Dashner incidents. Hosted by myself, Jessica Tuckerman, Magdalene, who is not with us this evening but might join later. I don't know. She's got the link. She can do it if she wants. And Daniel Stanton. Woo! Woohoo!
Yo, that would be wild if she's just like comes in the middle of like a heartfelt, like both of us are crying and she's like, "Wah!" I don't know why she would practice like she's in a 90s Super Bowl movie.
All right, so Christmas is like around the corner, and nobody's getting gifts from me this year because I am broke.
Same.
And we were laughing about it earlier, but I'm seriously considering, like, I didn't really like this book. You could have this arc and this arc.
Let's shout them out right now. Which ones did we not like enough?
Oh, yeah.
To keep, but will like enough to give to people. No.
Yeah, let's see. It's on my shelf. No, I'm not doing that because I want to continue getting advanced reader copies.
Yeah, I'm serious. Like, all right, I said it jokingly, not on talking it. We were like on Google Hangout, but like, I'm for real about like going to used bookstores and buying arcs. It's like really cool to me to find like arcs of books and be like, wow, that's not the cover, and then be like, oh shit, this is an advanced reader copy. This isn't supposed to be for sale.
Yeah,
like that's. I have like 4 that I found, and like, I mean, sure, like, I mean, I don't know the authors, but it feels special. And so
it does.
Like
I love having physical copies.
Oh, absolutely.
Of the advanced reader copies, because then I'm like, oh, I have this. Like, I just did a school talk about book blogging, and the kids were like, but this book's not out yet. I'm like, I know, I'm special. I have it. Like,
no, I do. I think people are getting books this year. I'm not gonna lie.
I
think like
so. All joking aside, nobody is getting my arcs. Like, even the ones that I hate, I hold precious because they're mine. So screw everybody. But like, I honestly hate when people give me books.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a very select few people that know my taste in literature, which is crazy because I don't think I'm really that secretive about my taste in literature.
Which is the more frustrating part about it, I think.
Yes, exactly. Like, I'm like, I literally have an entire blog dedicated to things that I like about books. You could just go and look and notice that I read almost exclusively science fiction, but okay, go on and give me a copy of War and Peace. Thank you, yes.
Yes. That's fascinating.
But, like, my family, ever since I like, actively became a reader and was really into books and things, because when I was a child I was like, ew, books, but it, like, when I became a teenager I was like, yeah, books, leave me alone.
On my 13th birthday, some people become leprechauns, some people become mermaids. I learned how to read.
I mean, it was my 11th.
Well, you weren't a teenager then. You were a preteen.
Oh, yes. I was a preteen.
How are you supposed to be on a Disney Channel original movie on Disney Plus if you're a preteen?
I have to be a teenager first. That's the...
Oh, God, I hate that word. Didn't know it till right now, but gosh,
coining terms left and right. No, I'm kidding. But they'd give me books like I would hate them, and and then I feel bad because somebody got me a book and I don't like it and I'm not going to read it, or they get me a book that, like, I look at the cover and I know I'm not going to read this book. And I would rather people just either A, give me money because I'm broke, or just give me a Barnes & Noble gift card. I remember one year, that's all I asked for. My family was like, what do you want? And I was like, gift cards to Barnes & Noble, because that's where all of my money is going. And people got the books, and I was like...
like, you were halfway there.
Yeah, like, you had to walk past the gift cards to purchase this book. I just want money for books. I don't want you to buy books, because you never give me the right book.
Which, I understand that, like, being like, oh, this person, like, knows... Like, it's like a weird complaint to have that, like, oh, they get me a book, but I don't like it. But, like, one year, I got 4 copies of Casual Vacancy. This same year. Like, when it came out, everyone was like, oh, Dan likes books. Oh, J.K. Rowling, popular author. Like, he'll love this. But, like, I
have 6 copies of the same collector's edition of the Chronicles of Narnia.
Is it the Barnes & Noble Collector's Edition, or...?
No, it's not the hardback. It's the paperback Collector's Edition with the big lion face, with the big Aslan face on the front.
Oh.
6 copies of it. People are going to get that this year for Christmas.
Just make sure you don't give it to the people who gave it to you.
That's exactly what I'm going to do. Remember this? But it was insane. Like, and I had to go around. So I think I've mentioned before in the podcast, like, my parents are divorced. So growing up, Christmas was spent at like 7 different households because nobody in my family wants to talk to each other and just make it easy. And like,
for a split second, I thought you had like a really, like, you're like, I'm not close. I have to spend it with my dad, but my dad's ex-wife, who's not my mom, I also go to her. Like, you're about to say how you have like 7 parents. But we did that. Yeah. Because after my dad and his second wife got divorced, we still talked to her. So yes, I had like 7. So yes, actually.
Yes, actually, is right. And yeah, everybody, all of them were like, "Oh, Jessica will like this," and I'm like, it was great the first time I opened it." Literally, all I got that year was just this book from everybody.
Shut up, cat. You didn't do the in Rude as Pets because
I didn't give any warnings. I didn't give any warnings. But we're not talking about like any specific book this evening, except the 6 that I got that one year for Christmas.
Well, yeah, like, see, all right, here's my other issue with books is like people buy you books and they're like, oh, you'll like this, and they buy it for you. And like more often than not, when someone buys me a book, I'm like, oh snap, like I'll read this, and I'll be like, oh, I'll read this, and then we can like, maybe get coffee and talk about it, or like get lunch and talk about it. And then
but it's not a book they read.
Exactly. It's never a book they read. They're always like, oh yeah, I mean, I haven't read it. It just looked like something you would like. And I'm like, well, you don't like to read, so like, what do you mean?
My mom found out that Julie Andrews, like Mary Poppins, Julie Andrews, has 30 some odd picture books out. And Mom was like, well, she's got 30 out. You should have at least one. I'm like, yeah, well, I'm sure Julie Andrews didn't have any trouble pitching that. She was probably like, I want to put my handprint on a single piece of paper and print blank pages for everything else, and it would sell.
Yeah, like Julie Andrews' pitch was, hi, I'm Julie Andrews, and they went, sold. And then,
yes.
And she went, all right,
yes, exactly.
Find me a ghost, like, nothing against Julie Andrews, sure, she's a talented artist in her own right. I'm sure she's also probably good writer. But like, I'm willing to bet probably Julie Andrews didn't write like 36 picture books. She probably had it ghostwritten for her, put her name on it. Like,
Yes, exactly.
Most autobiographies, which is the person's life story, is co-written with some name nobody's ever fucking heard of before. Like, every, like, book. So, like, probably not Julie Andrews.
Or my favorite, all right, so, like, Christmas Time Brag. So, I went on, if anybody is looking to either, like, review or get an editor, I very highly recommend Reedsy. That's reedsy.com.
Reedsy?
Yes.
Reedsy. Reedsy. Okay, go on.
I'll put it in the show notes. Okay. There's this huge marketplace of editors, and so I went on, and you go and you pitch to the editor, what your project is, and you let them know, like, I'm this far into it, I have this, and you get an editorial assessment where they're going through, it's basically like workshops that we have in classes and writing classes. You can have a developmental edit where they, like, tear it apart. You can have them copy edit it, proofread, whatever. And I asked for an editorial assessment so that I could, boof up my writing. And I pitched five editors, and one of the editors who got back to me was Jennifer Reed, who was the original editor on Suzanne Collins' The Hunger Games.
Oh, is that like a real small indie pressing?
Yeah.
I've never heard of it before.
Oh, Reezy, or you've never heard of The Hunger Games before?
The Hunger Games.
Sometimes, Davis, I want to throttle you.
I'm glad we're not like sitting across the table from each other right now.
You're like, my throat is so happy you can't reach me.
I mean, we really need the magic.
But that was super cool. So I got to work with him.
That's fucking dope.
Yeah. So I now have 8 single-spaced pages of feedback, which is a lot. But it's all, like, really, really great.
Like,
and she just did it, like, chapter by chapter, and all of her notes and things that could be improved and things that were done well, and just boom. I'm like, awesome. I forget why I was talking about this.
Christmas.
Oh, right. So of course,
Andrews.
Like the Julie Andrews and books and things. So I'm going through those notes, and I'm actively going back through my chapters, and I'm making notes and things. And my mom comes up and she's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Well, I'm applying these notes." And so she's like, "You're clearly not doing anything." And then the next hour, she's like, "So when are you going to finish your book?" I'm like, "Well, I was trying to do it an hour ago."
Oh, yep. All right. So same though. Like, that's how.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because, like, all right, I try and talk to my family about, like, people. Like, we've talked about who my mentor is. I don't know. I'm probably allowed to mention.
Yeah, we mention them all the time.
Okay, cool. All right. So working with Adrian, I worked with Jess. Not Rink. I was just going to say Jess Rinker, but it's not Jess Rinker. It's not Jess Rinker. Jess Regal. Who, and then Adrian for SAT, and, like, both of them are, like, they're both at Foundry, and, like, they're real, like, they get a lot of shit published. Like, the one book, A List of Cages, is Jess Regal, like The Midnights by Sarah Nicole Smetana is Jess Regal. And I'm like working with them and like, you know, they send me an email that's just like, hey, just want to know like how your packet's coming along. And I have to take like a 40-minute like breather because they're fucking like, well, like they're a good publisher or agent or editor and everything. And then like, but my family's like, oh, I don't know. Like, so are you like done yet?
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, like, so it's weird that my family's like that about reading and writing. And then they try and get me books because like they just buy popular. So it's like this weird mix of like, okay, so this is what people think is popular. It's a nice like measuring stick for that. But I do wish my family knew, like, I would rather you buy me a craft book, honestly. Like,
you know,
which, because like really they'll buy a craft book and then chances are it'll be a book that I would have never picked up because it's not one of the ones recommended to me. And those are the ones that I'm always like, holy shit, look at this like nugget of information that solves my problem.
I love how Booked All Night constantly devolves into writing craft, but
fuck yeah, man.
It's
almost like we're on an MFA program together.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm gonna find it. I know it's over there on my shelf somewhere.
All right, while you find it, I just not to talk about craft, but I did just sent my thesis yesterday.
Thesis. Yeah, go David.
And then today I got an acceptance letter for one of my stories.
Yay! It's very exciting. What magazine is it, by the way?
It's called The Dead Mule School of Southern Literature.
It's amazing. I love it.
It's awesome. But they're like, from 1996 is when they started as an online magazine. Because they like, apparently when the internet was created, they were like, this is a good place to put a lit mag. And have kept it running ever since.
What's amazing is they kept something running online from the 90s. That's amazing.
24 years. I was like, holy Toledo. And they're like, yeah, it's June is when they do their creative nonfiction journal. And so it's a piece about me getting fired from Disney World. How that kind of ruined my life for a bit. And but now I'm better.
Now I'm better. He says.
Like now I'm better. Hey Disney, if you want to buy the movie rights to my book when it comes out, no hard feelings. Gang.
It was the craft book was one of the Now Write series, and it was specifically on sci-fi because I was trying to like world build what I had done for my thesis, and there was this section about labeling your genres, and it was really great because you've read part of my thesis. It doesn't really necessarily like fit very cleanly into one genre, which is what we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And
in theory,
in theory, exactly. But then, I'm trying to describe it in a query letter, and I'm like, it's a science fiction, dystopian, psychological thriller young adult novel.
Which then makes you sound like you don't know what you're talking like. When you're not pinpointing in a query letter, makes you sound like you don't know, despite.
Yeah.
Oh, trust me, I know what this book's about. Like.
Yeah, like I understand it. I wrote it. But the whole thing was, for you choose two genres, and one describes your setting and one describes
Yo.
And I was like, wow. Like that boils that down so well.
Yo. Bruh.
Yeah, exactly. So like you would have a contemporary romance or a contemporary psychological thriller and I'm like, wow, that just like, okay, so I've got a sci-fi psych thriller. Ta-da! Like, and it immediately boiled it down and made it so much easier to talk about like that. And I was like, how come nobody told me this? I just spent like $40,000 on a degree.
But like, no, it took I'm glad Guadalupe Garcia McCall was there because she introduced me to Save the Cat, and like that book changed. That book literally changed everything because I'm a planner, 110%. I am very much a planner. I'm not a seatser or pantser. Is that what it's called? Whatever.
Panther.
Yeah.
Panther.
I don't go around pantsing people, so I like. But
I do. No, I'm on right. So I have a very loose outline, and then I just let it go. And that's how I get to my but I have to have that map first. But one of my favorite things about Save the Cat is that, like, kind of guide sheet.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah, where it's like, this is where you should be word count wise for this kind of plot. And I'm like, God,
I'm like,
where has this been all my life?
Yeah, because, like, yeah, I get, like, when I'm at a writing conference, you know, you're at the book conference, and then there's, like, people that are up there having a panel, and then always that one person comes up and they're like, okay, so my book is, like, has 27 main characters. It's about 43 different setting, you know, content.
And it's kind of like this other bestseller and this other bestseller put together.
But, like, the reason why I'm better, and you're like, fuck, shut the fuck. And they're like, but how do I plot this novel? And you're like, simple. You write 27 different novels because no one wants to read that, you idiot. Anyway, I think that's been pent up for a while. But, like, this book, it's like, literally, it's like every book does this. Even, and she says, like, because she even says, like, even if your book is not, like, you know, told start to finish, you know, and you want to move them around, you still need to hit those points, though, for it to feel like a complete story. It's the natural way that people tell stories, even the most, like, crazy, artistically, like, you know, manipulated stories that have these crazy blah, blah, blahs that, like...
Cloud
Atlas, or any book Danny McGilloway will tell you is the best book he's ever read. He's one of my best friends, so I feel like I'm allowed to say that. But, like hopscotch, or whatever it's called, like, where like it bounces around and you can read.
Every shelter pet is unique. Some love a good game of fetch. Others would rather snuggle on the couch. However, there is one thing that they all have in common. They're all pure love. Right now, millions of pets in shelters and rescues across the country are waiting to be adopted. My very own service dog in training, Ringo Bingo Bongo, actually came from a shelter, and I don't know what I would do without him. Did you know that only 44% of dogs and 47% of cats in American homes come from animal shelters and rescue groups? The unique qualities of each and every shelter pet add up to an incredible bond between every shelter pet and parent. If you're thinking about getting a pet this holiday season, make sure to visit theshelterpet.org, brought to you by the Ad Council, Maddie's Fund, and the Humane Society of the United States.
Men We Reaped by Jesmyn Ward.
No.
I love how we're not mentioning young adult titles, but...
You know, this is... Hey, another bullshit night in Suck City. He is young for, like, a chapter.
Yeah, he hits that YA age. It's fine.
I mean, I would give it to, like... I would give that to high school students. Not if I was, like... Not if I was, like, teaching them. Like, if I was, like, a visitor, I'd be like, yo, check this book out. I can't be held responsible for what your parents think. Like, bye.
Oh, my God. Yeah, oh, my Jesus. All right, so, The Men We Reap by Jesmyn Ward. It's told anachronistically, but the stories about the men who died in her life, it leads up to her brother, and her brother was the first one that she lost. It's like the first major death, and it really hit her hard. But you're moving up in relationships. So she, like, loses an uncle, she loses a family friend, an actual friend, an in-law, like, and it all moves up to losing her brother when she was, I think, in her early teens. It's been many years, and there's like 600 books between when I read her and what I read now.
Oh, you didn't read this before this recording? Wow. Well,
no.
This is bullshit. Never mind, I'm hanging up.
How dare you? How dare you make me podcast on my own?
I don't know. Do phones still do that? I don't know. Like,
no, I think they just cut out. You gotta click and be like, I'm going through tunnel.
Yeah. Right. No, that's a radio, right? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's a radio. Oh my God. Weird.
I'm an adult. So, I was born in 1991. I'm not from the past and Frozen. What do you think? In any order, and yet it still tells a story, and he swears it's a great book, and I'm like, I don't know, it sounds like a lot of work.
So, like, there's a couple nonfiction books like that, most notably Ticking is the Bomb by Nick Flynn.
Nick
and
Flynn.
Not Another Suck City, both, like, really fucky with the time. And like in the what is it? Is it Ticking is the Bomb is the one about his daughter? And it's at least that one has a focal point because it's like 6 months before she was born, but 2 months after, and like so you kind of have this slowly getting into
life.
Yeah, slowly getting into life and getting that comparison. Then like another night in bullshit.
Another bullshit night in Suck City.
Yes, thank you.
Anytime.
That one's about his father, and that one just jumps.
And it's
like I never felt like we were close enough to get the right stories together. And I get it. Like, life is complicated, and to understand why it's really crazy meeting your father on the street 25 years after you're talking to him, you have to understand like some shit that he did when you were a kid. Fine, but at least put that shit near each other, and not like the opposite ends of them.
Yeah, because I agree, and like even getting back to it, like he still wrote it in order. He decided to mix it up and shake it around by like cutting it up, as we know, because Nick Flynn also was at SNC. But like that he like cut it up, spreads it around, and put it together, which then becomes like, dude, you really butchered this by like separating these two events so drastically. But it's in order. It could be in order if you read it in order. Like,
but it was also like it's really weird to say that, because have you ever read what year were you born, Davis?
1991. Yeah, I was going to bring it up regardless. We like zagged on you about being the oldest person that's ever walked the face of the earth. Even if Maggie's not here, I'm still going to throw that cheap shot.
You would do this to me when I already feel so old.
Because you are.
And, I am, it's true. But, like, yeah, all right, back to holidays, right? So, over the holidays, obviously, there's, like, all these parties to go to. You have lots of family obligations and social obligations. Like, all I want to do is sit down and read a book or listen to a book. And today, my family and I went to Longwood Gardens, which is out in Kennett Square, PA. Yeah, I love it. All the Christmas lights are up. It's great. It rained all day, so we didn't walk the grounds. We just went in the conservatory. And I like to just like walk around, scoot around, because I'm old and I get a scooter when I go because I can't walk for like longer than half an hour. It hurts.
So you don't use the walker?
No, I had to give that back to my grandma.
You mean she like asked to borrow yours?
No, I gave hers back to get when I throw my back out, I have to use the walker to get up and down.
You make me feel like shit. Yeah. I was trying to make fun of you for being old again.
Yeah, no, it's okay. My husband does too. I like to put in an audiobook and just walk around and look at the flowers, look at the lights, take pictures, But my family likes to talk, and normally I go with my sister, but my sister was sick this year, so I had to stay with my family. And I'm like, guys, I just want to listen to this book. Like, it's 14 hours long. It'll cover us walking around today.
I was like, Jesus Christ. Well, Jess, you shouldn't like just walk around for 14 hours, right? Like, that's a lot of walking. Like, that's like borderline marathon. Like,
I don't walk around for 14 hours. The grounds at Longwood, they're huge.
Oh yeah,
it's miles long. And
yeah, I've taken dates there. In the same vein, I was like, all right, I took my family took a road trip out to Illinois for a wedding, and like, all right, yes, I am on a young adult podcast, and I hadn't read The Hate U Give until literally this like summer, but like,
for shame,
I listened to it, which I was like, yo, this is dope, because I'm a reluctant reader at the end of the day. 444 pages. I was like, Andrew Thomas, are you out of your mind? I'm not reading 400. Like, I was like, I wouldn't read 444 of my own pages, more or less anyone else's.
Angie Thomas, get smaller margins. This is ridiculous.
But like, which even like, so I was assigned it by Adrian for SNC, and I was like, oh, like I've had it obviously for like, I've had it pre-awards, like my copy doesn't have any stickers on the front because I was like, I'm gonna buy it and then never read it. And so then I listened to it.
My copy also does not have stickers.
And so then I listened to it like a lazy person. Anyway, the point I'm getting to is like, my family, I was glad they had Grey's Anatomy and driving to entertain them. Because otherwise, like, we talk in the car. and I'd be like, yo, this book, I wouldn't have like retained a single fucking thing on this. And it was like, I flew right after I got home and was trying to listen to it. And of course, the person next to me is like,
talk. I see the headphones. You clearly
Are you flying to or flying from? And I'm like, that's a stupid question. Both. You're traveling. You're doing both. That doesn't make sense. But like a book like that, I'm like, I feel like, all right, my bookcase, 4, 6, 9 stacks, right? Very out in the open. And like a lot of my books, every book that I read is I'm the contemporary boy. I like contemporary stuff. Yet
it's why we invited you on, because
I love I'm
like, all I wanted to do was just, like have that relaxing day and listen to that book. Just like if we had stayed home and we had a family thing, all I'd want to do is be left the hell alone to read a book or like work on a D&D campaign. I don't know, but like I just want to do something creative and have that. And people who aren't readers don't get that. That's why they go like, oh, I liked the cover and thought you might like the book. I haven't read the book though. Here you go. Like,
well, it's like, you know what really helps me escape the real world? Reading about the real world. Wait, no, why am I still sad?
Okay, so contemporary fiction has this weird, like, all right, romance in contemporary fiction is very straight. Romance is in every fucking book, but particularly the sick kid romance trend.
Oh, fuck it. I'm like so against it.
It's so weird. It's like it's like inspiration porn, and I hate it.
No, look, I was thinking I was like, sick kid romance is literally like some weird fetish shit. And one day I'll be, I'll get published and I'll lose a book deal because of what I'm about to say. But like, sick kid porn is like suicide, like kids that like want someone to want to die for them, like be like, oh, I love you. If I can't be with you, I want to kill myself. But they're too scared to like admit it. Like that's what it is. You want the person to want to die if they're not with you, but you're too scared to admit that like suicide is the like caveat. It's like it's like Tentacle Porn.
So what you're saying is that
sick kid?
No, I don't think
Tentacle Porn of young adult fiction. Boom.
I don't think that is accurate.
I think it is.
I feel like I will give you an alternative.
Okay,
I don't agree.
Save my career before it even starts. Love, ain't it great? And you're like, no, what? Like, no.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's like, it stems from, I think, a not understanding that. And a lot of kids that like Romeo and Juliet, like if they, they'll not like reading, but they'll be like, oh, that wasn't so bad. Because a lot of kids are still, even if kids suck and they're like shit demons, they are still like, everyone kind of has that like, oh, I want to be loved. And like, yeah, sure, it would be nice to feel that until it's real.
Aren't you a teacher?
I'm a substitute teacher right now.
Oh, that's the way you're describing it. It's like softcore Romeo and Juliet, right? So like every little kid's like, oh, I want Romeo and Juliet. Like, really? Because they were like 13, had sex, killed a bunch of people, and then killed themselves over the span of like 3 days.
Romeo and Juliet, I think, is taught that way. I think that says more about the teachers that teach it. Like, the point of that play is to not be them, not to idolize them, but how it's taught in schools is like, oh, look how true, this is a great love story. That's the point of the fucking thing is, look how awful this is. Like, don't do this. Like, the point is, don't do this. And, like, teachers are like, so to get back from my bold claim of tentacle porn is sick.
We have the sleepy ha-has. Tentacle porn. Literature. But it's weird. It's weird because, like, so many of these titles are coming out, especially now. So, all the winter releases are starting to come up. So, like, all my NetGalley and Edelweiss dashboards are like, do you want to read something like 5 Feet Apart? I'm like, no, I don't.
Yeah, there's, like, so much dead kids in contemporary, which makes me sad. Like, which I guess is the point, does, but it's also, like, I feel like it misses the point. Like, when there's that many dead kids, you don't care that any of them are dead all of a sudden.
I mean, yeah, all of a sudden, certainly, yes, sure. I certainly don't read and go, oh, that's that for the page. Like, it's like, no, but you're right. Like, it's so polluted.
It becomes polluted, and then you're like,
Yeah.
I don't care. Like, you're like, oh crap, look, this kid survived? Holy shit. This book, like, you're like, is this better or worse? I'm not sure.
Wait, who let characters survive? We don't do that in young adult fiction.
I'm like, for real, I was just like thinking, I was like, what's the last young adult book I read where a kid didn't die?
Oh.
Okay, I read We Are Okay by Nina LaCour, but the grandpa dies in that.
Oh.
Like, that's not a spoiler. That's the, like, premise of the book. Like, that's, like, page 1 is her grandpa died. I was like, page 1, grandpa died. I was like, a spoiler would be saying that the dragon is what killed him. There's no dragon. I don't read fantasy.
Also, like, all right, so middle grade and below get all the, like, holiday edition books. And, like, young adult, outside of Court of Frost and Starlight, I don't think we've really had, like, the Christmas book.
See, I was just thinking, like, I was like, a nice natural thing is, like, we know there's a great book out. It's called Peanut Butter and Santa Claus. That's, like, a picture book of... was that subtle?
Where they eat?
Subtle? Dan, why haven't you gotten an agent? They listened to 2 podcasts that I was on. And they decided I was a liability. But, like, no, there's no, like, I was just sitting here thinking, like, before we were warming up, and even now we're talking about it still, like, I don't know a, like, Christmas young adult novel that's, like, like, not, like, Hallmark movie level of Christmas, but, like, something that would be, like, no, what's that one John Green one? The, like, it's something he wrote with someone else. I think it might be Christmas. So, like, that's me being like, no, I do contemporary stuff. I just don't like John Green because he's, like, he for someone who hates Disney so much, he sold a lot of his movie rights to them. But, like,
Tell me how you really feel.
He's a fucking poser. He sits there and shits on Disney in every single one of his books and then sells his movie rights to Disney. There's a person across the street. It's called Universal. If you really hate Disney that much, don't fucking sell your rights to him. Get the fuck out of here. You're a fucking poser. Like, I'm fine with it. I in no way disrespect, like, The Hustle. Yeah, I want Disney to buy my movie rights. I don't give a shit who buys them. But, like, don't sit there and continue to be the cool guy who hates the Mickey Mouse. Like, when you're fucking making $1 off of it, you fucking poser. Anyway.
I mean, doesn't everybody hate their boss?
Well, no, he's still, like, he hated it before and still puts it in his books. Like, then stop selling your movie rights to him. Like, Looking for Alaska, sure, you did that one, and it changed your life. Good for you. And, like, they still haven't made it into a movie, but you didn't have to sell Fault in Our Stars to Disney.
Isn't that a Hulu adaptation now? Looking for Alaska?
I'm not gonna watch that shit. Like, but, like, he's
so up on your YA and contemporary fiction.
Fault in Our Stars to Disney, which it's like, it's not Disney.
Yeah.
It's like Touchstone, which is still Disney. It's like it's in the parent company of Disney.
All right, to be fair, though, all roads lead to Disney.
Yeah. Oh no, I want to sell my eventual book movie rights to Disney, but I want in my contract that, like, I'm a lifetime long Disney cast member now, and so I can get into the parks for free. It's very simple. You're not going to lose money on it. Like,
what you got to do is, oh God, what's his name? Who's the guy that does the Kingdom Keepers? Ridley Pearson? All the way down
that was
John
Hank
Green,
right? No, that was, never mind, that's John Green.
No, that's
Hank Green was the other. No, the one about snow.
You're welcome,
Joe
Joe.
McGee, he snapped me during this, and, like, so anyway.
We sound like we're drunk. I just want to let you know that. I have not had anything to drink. I am just tired, and you have had 6 cups of coffee. Oh my God.
Because I don't pay attention to warning labels. Anyway, I'm just sweating and pacing and, like, tipsy. But no.
So he actually has special access to go to the parks when they're closed.
He's fucking, he knows it. He is living it. Speaking of people who write for Disney,
we were invited to review The Queen's Assassin, which is Melissa de la Cruz's upcoming book, and we asked for an interview, and we were told it would be looked into.
Fingers crossed.
Keep an eye out, because that would be amazing.
All right, I don't think I told you this when, like, you shared the email, but, like, email, because it was Nick out, but, like, Melissa De La Cruz. We're currently reading her.
Oh my
that
god,
was
I'm so
subtle.
excited.
That seemed natural.
So for those listeners at home,
literally the day before, I understand that like she's probably like, yeah, no, she probably made a bunch of money. I doubt she cares about this, but like, so on the Descendants, I watched Descendants because I got Disney Plus, and I love the villains.
of course.
I have all the villain pins. I don't give a shit about the heroes of any Disney movie because the movie sucks when the heroes. Yeah,
it's all about the pins.
So I was like, yo, this seems like something younger me would love. And then I watched it and I was like, ha ha ha, joke's on me. Old me now. Loves.
Joke's on you, old man.
Yeah.
I still like it.
So like I'm not, I'll talk to anyone about that. My favorite villain is Gaston. And so his son, Gil, on the show is played by Dylan Playfair, who is Riley on the show Letterkenny, which, like, I love Letterkenny. It's the reason I have a Hulu subscription is to watch that. And I was like, yo, stop it. And so I looked up, like, everything I could. I was like, he's Gaston's son. And according to Melissa De La Cruz, I think, is where this information comes from, according to the fandom, Gil is the third son of Gaston. He had twins, Gaston Jr. and Gaston the Third, and then another boy that they named Gil, which is amazing. And he's kind of gay. And I was like, hell yeah. They're like all the boys on that show, other than Carlos, or the movie, other than Carlos, are like kind of gay. And I was like, yo, I'm about to read the Descendants series. And then the next day, you sent that email about Melissa De La Cruz, like in Queen's Assassin. And I was like, well, that's fucking weird. Like, like I was like, this is weird. I was just looking at buying the Descendants series, like, to read them. Like, this is weird.
It's great. We've had the Sleepy Ha-Has this entire podcast, so I think this is a good spot to note that we only talked about the holidays and Christmas like 3 times.
Happy holidays to everyone.
Yes, happy holidays, regardless of what you celebrate, and hopefully nobody gives you books. They just give you money for books so you can get the titles.
Or for real, if you're going to give someone a book, like, read it. Like, read it and, like, actually enjoy it. Because when I gift books that I know I love. And so if nothing else, the person can read it and at least tell me how much they hated it afterwards.
My Aunt Jean, we've had the giving policy that get them something that you like and hope that they like it too. You know, it's about, like, gift giving is about sharing and, like, reaffirming that connection that you have with that person.
Exactly. So if you're gonna gift a book, make it one that you like and, like, that you can then talk to them about. And if you haven't read it and you've just heard it's good, I mean, yeah, like, the holidays are hard. I'm bad at gift giving too, so, like, maybe just maybe give it to them anyway.
You know what else? is a great gift? You can support this podcast.
That's an amazing gift.
And make sure to like and subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Sign up for the newsletter. There's a link in the notes. Something bookedallnight.blog, something anchor.fm
like, share, and
subscribe. Something. Like, share, subscribe. Yes, please like, share, and subscribe. It's the holidays. All you have to do is share our episodes that you like. We have so many interviews. This was like the year of interviews. All we did this year.
There were so many interviews, like, I couldn't really keep up. Like, well, I mean, also, I don't know how clocks work, so that didn't help.
Yeah. Anchor.fm/bookedallnight.
And that thing that we care deep about, animals.
Yes,
that you recorded.
Oh yeah, so there's the shelter pet project. I did record it, and there's a better, much less laughter version that is going to come out. But the shelter pet project, which is all about helping people find pets that are in shelters and getting them adopted. And less than half of pets in homes right now come from shelters. You know what? I have a shelter pet, and I love them to death. And anything would happen to him, I would kill everybody in this room and then myself. Sorry, I was watching.
I was like, oh my god. Yeah.
But no, like adopt, and if you don't have the time or money for adoption, consider donating to your local shelters, because shelters rely on donations, especially no-kill shelters. So like go to Walmart and buy up all the $5 fleeces right now and drop them off so those pets have something warm and snuggly to be on. Like volunteer your time to play with them, but do something. They absolutely deserve all the love that they have in their hearts. Except for my cat. My cat is
good. I'm glad you made a joke, because mine was going to be, and a good Christmas gift, if you don't want to give a book, make a donation in someone's name. And if they don't appreciate donations, they don't deserve a gift. And that's a nice token to note for next year.
And on that note, but yeah, we have plenty of interviews with many amazing authors. Our first returning guest ever was Lindsay Miller. That was the last episode that we did. Like, keep an eye out. I'm pretty confident we're going to have an interview with Melissa De La Cruz, and I'm very excited about it. Like, good night, little
adopted.
I don't know. Maggie's never now either.
Good night. Good night, my little tentacles. Christmas tentacles.
No! Christmas tentacles. God damn it. Good little Christmas tentacles. My name is